In this week's Do Something With Your Marketing, I want to encourage you to take a look at one of the best resources for financial information on the web that's totally free, completely, totally zero cost, especially if you're a U.S. taxpayer. Your tax dollars paid for it. If you're not a U.S. taxpayer, you're welcome. It is called FRED, the Federal Reserve Economic Data Repository, published by the St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank. Now, what in the world would you need access to 566,000 data feeds for on every topic under the sun? Well, the answer is there is almost certainly at least one, if not many, data points within this repository that could be useful indicators for your business. We've been hearing the last few days in the news about how the yield curve on two different types of bonds inverted recently, signaling the beginning of a recession. We can debate whether or not these two indicators are useful for predicting recessions, but there is absolutely no doubt that that inversion happened, and the last time it happened, of course, was in 2007. That's for the economy as a whole. So, the question I have for you is, what economic indicators, what data points would be relevant to your business, to your market, to your marketing, to your customers, to your prospective customers? What things would they want to know about that if you had it's not really inside track because it's public data, but no one's paying attention to it. So if you were to publish a note of some kind, a bit of research of your own, what things would be useful to your customers? So let's go ahead and bring up FRED here. This is fred.stlouisfed.org. Again, remember, this is all economic data from the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. It is incredibly valuable research, and you can see just from the homepage, there are things like one-click add-ons to Excel. There are popular indicators, popular pieces of data, and a search box. Now, let's say, for example, we care about, coffee. Let's see what they have in here for coffee. Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, coffee. Global price of coffee, other mild Arabica, Robustas, and so on and so forth. So coffee imports by the United States. So if I ran a coffee shop, for example, I might want to know what is the monthly price of coffee, or what is the consumer price index for coffee. This is a incredibly useful and powerful metric because it tells you what a consumer is paying. So let's go ahead and click on this. And this is the consumer price index for all urban consumers. Coffee index 1982 to 1984 is 100. I mean, 100% is seasonally adjusted. And we can see that really coffee prices peaked here in 2011 and have been on a slow decline since then. What if how far back can we? Oh, that's to 2003 is as far back we can go for the seasonally adjusted. Let's look at non-seasonally adjusted here. And go to maximum view since 1967, right, where 1982 to 1984 is 100. Since 1967, prices on coffee have gone up with a few spikes here and there, and then hit that all-time high in 2011 and have been in a slow decline since then. So if I'm trying to make a market prediction for coffee prices, if I own a coffee shop, this might be a piece of data that I might want to keep my eye on. What are consumers paying for coffee, and will that have an impact on my business? Now let's try a different thing. Let's try producer price index. So the producer price index, if you're not familiar in economics, is what companies are paying for raw materials to produce stuff. Hence the name, producer price index. And so it's a good B2B indicator. If the producer price index is going up, it means companies are paying more to make stuff, and that means that they'll pass that cost on to consumers. But it also helps you understand, if you're a B2B business, hey, maybe some of the companies in our marketplace are paying more recently, and therefore they might be more price sensitive, right? So you can see there's producer price indexes for all these different types of commodities as well as the basket. Let's say that we're working with a paper company, right? And we have this lovely chart here. Let's go just to the last 10 years. Right now, paper at the end of 2018 was at all-time highs for cost, right? So that meant that if you were, pitching a paper company, there's a good chance that they might be a little reticent to make any kind of major decisions. Now, prices have come down in the first few months of 2019. This also means that in the supply chain, things like anything that uses paper products, like newspapers, like packing companies, like Amazon even, for a while have been paying more, really for like the last couple of years, been paying more for their paper products. And as a result, they've had to pass those costs on to consumers. So knowing this, you could create content from this, right? If I go to just down to the 1 year view here, you could create content saying at the end of April 2019, hey, the PPI for paper products was at 185. This is a market decline from just 4 months ago when it was at 222. So producers of paper products, guess what? If you don't already feel the relief in your expenditures, in your supply costs, you should be seeing that soon. And as a result, someone could hire your company to provide guidance on the ways to maximize or to lock in those savings. Economic data is so powerful. There's so much you can do with it. There's so much content you can create from it. There's so much advice and counsel and strategy that you can help people set from it. And it's all free. Well, all of it on the Federal Reserve site here is all free. There's no reason not to be creating content and indicators and strategy documents and white papers from the data, from real data that you can use to show thought leadership, to boost the power of your marketing, to maybe even automate some of your marketing, because this will help you produce regular, frequent content, right? If you've got this producer price index and it's released monthly, at the end of every month, guess what? You've got a guaranteed piece of research that you can be releasing in your industry that will help you show that you've got your finger on the pulse of your industry. So for this week's Do Something With Your Marketing, I want you to find something that's relevant to your company and start making use of that data. As always, please leave your comments below, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon. Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.